back to the rest of the story. There is equipment everywhere. So that's what the lot currently looks like. Our makeshift water, the wash bay is all mud. Ryan's finishing up the 82. He just washed the Easy Trail and the Brent grain cart. And Dad's getting ready to maneuver it back in out of the way. Now, it was a little bit more important this year than maybe some other years to wash this stuff off, because these two pieces in particular, implements by the way, I'm not talking tractors, got a lot of salt on them. A lot more than any of us would like to see. But with the weather conditions that we had thrown at us, it's not like we really had a whole lot of choice. Now, hold on here. Better. So yes, this Easy Trail is a 500 bushel. You know, spec'd out it's 500 bushels. But it's actually, about the most we can get on it is about 460. I think I had a couple that were about 480, but I never really did have too many that were over 500. And the biggest thing I'm watching for and multitasking for is just making sure that nothing makes any contact with anything else. Straight back. So the 735 is back in the back of the machine shed. We're good there. This needs a bunch of work yet, but either we'll wait until next spring and work on it, or unless I get really bored this winter, I'll go to the trouble of pulling it out. Or I actually could probably work on the majority of what that machine needs right where it sits. I would like to go through and change out all the teeth. It has one turtle shell that it needs replaced. Plus it does have that overrunning clutch on it that is shot. The last day that we cut hay, it was touch and go as to whether or not it was gonna start or not. And this is a lot easier with two hands. It's gonna sit there. I mean, they kind of are unhandy, but they also come in really handy for the right jobs. What's up? Not yet. I'm gonna grease it and everything yet anyway. I gotta go through. Move it this way. Can.
Is there not room for the BT beside it?
I have no idea. Maybe, but probably not. I can move the combine over. Well, I'll move the combine. Yeah, this is done. As far as washing it and cleaning it off, am I 100% done with the combine? No. We're getting there though. It needs probably about 5 pounds of rat poison put on it. Not that we have that many issues. We've had problems in the past with rats, but it's more of a preventative. I'd rather get carried away putting poison on it than have to run the risk of going to start this next summer and having a bunch of rodent damage on it. So probably about the last good shot you guys are going to see of the combine from me. As far as a recap on harvest, disappointed, unimpressed. spent more than I would have liked to get the bushels that I ended up with. Far from a out and out crop failure. But for those of you that are new to the channel, my standards are set awfully high as far as yield goes. Changes going into next year, just shooting off the hip, making sure I'm not going to hit the VT. The Y dropping and the top spreading is a big question mark. I actually prefer going through with the cultivator. Granted, it is earlier in the season than when we were Y dropping and top dressing everything, but it takes away the amount of the cost per pass it does to top dress and the application cost to top dress and Y drop when I can do it myself with the 4020 and our cultivator. I am planning on applying fertilizer to that hay ground I picked up. I'm planning on making a bunch of hay and either getting all of it put inside, and anything I can't get put inside, I'm actually going to contact another YouTuber that I know he handles, or at one point did handle the tarps, or could at least give me a idea as who to call to maybe buy a tarp or two. So there's that. Like that. Shut the lights off. And what else? Okay. As far as what this needs yet, I gotta grease it to keep the zerks kind of fresh, keep some of the grease in it kind of fresh, and make sure none of the water that I use to wash it off settles in on it. Hey, buddy. Get your stick. Get your stick. Okay, so that's a little easier to talk to you, and there isn't about 20 different things going on at the same time. But I'm out here in the old dairy barn lot, obviously right next to the dairy barn. Looks significantly different now that the silo is gone, but I think it's an improvement. It doesn't bother me one bit that silo's gone. The feed bunk is going to be the next thing to go. And granted, I know the sun's in your guys' eyes, but this is the future destination where my cows are going to be going. I got the 5 down at my place, you know, the 3 cows and the 2 heifer calves. My plan is to bring them up here. Do a little bit of work around the fences. Well, the fence actually out in the pasture, that's actually new. If you look out through there, right into the sun and then down, it's not too bad. The stretch from the corner of the guardrail down needs to be redone, but the lot itself really isn't all that bad out there. I really don't have any intention of having them in here. I want to do some work with the crete, the fences here, either probably fence this off altogether because there's really no need to have the calves, the cows up in here. I'd like to get that bunk ripped out, redo the fence with wood boards on the back side, and then actually look into putting in like a moderate use, like cattle setup, the corral and everything else. Not as heavy as the one that we have, you know, where it's the solid sheets of steel and all that stuff. But I was on one of the online sites here. Which one is it? One of the online auction sites actually had a pretty reasonable, it was a tub plus the chute off the end of it. And for what I really plan on doing out here in this lot for my cattle, my calves, I think it would work pretty well. I mean, I could probably bolt a sheet of metal or something on it from the local metal shop. but it would be nice to actually go over in the corner and then set up a semi-permanent catching cattle run with a chute set up on the end of it permanently, so that way I could put my cows out in the back lot, out in the pasture. They can calve spring, March, early April. They can calve, they can raise them on grass throughout the summer, and then when it comes time to wean them off, I got a lot out here is where I would put them, a dedicated lot, put in a bale feeder and just feed them some grass hay, because I will have plenty of hay going forward, and wean them off for however long I need to. Honestly, when I wean them off in, say, September, I'll wean them off for 60 days. I'll run them through the chute and vaccinate them, band them. I mean, if I don't already do that, like in the summer when they're a little bit smaller, and bunk feed them for about 60 days, and then I'll just sell them to one of those black hided feeder calf sales. So I've said it 1,000 times, I'll keep saying it, but see, I know I got new subscribers, so try to keep everybody pretty much in the same thought process of everything that's going through my head, which is kind of scary. But the feed bunk is junk. There has been some thoughts, not by me, but people have mentioned, well, why don't we just chop like an ag bag full of silage, get like a feed wagon or even a TMR, and then set up a grain, or not a grain elevator, but just a regular elevator up and feed into the feed bunk, so we could actually use the feed bunk that we just feed it with the TMR. Because I do know some people that do that. That's a lot of hassle though for what I'm looking to do. I mean, if I'm going to do something like that, I'll rebuild the bunk down at my place, I'll fill the silo down at my place, and I'll start feeding calves down there. I'm not planning on running 200 head of cattle, of bred cows like Tyson does, but 50 head wouldn't be bad. Granted, I'm not going to be able to raise 50 head of cows in this pasture here. I'd say probably 15, 20, probably pretty well push it. And that's if I do 20 and I go through and I run an electric fence around the pasture to keep the cows in the fence so they don't push on the fences too bad. And then in that case, I'd be feeding them hay year round, which if I can cash flow and justify it, I mean, I probably would go ahead and do it. I mean, if it comes down to where it's better off just selling the feed and not having the cattle around, I'll cut back the amount of cattle and I'll still feed them, but free grass out in the pastures they can eat is kind of the way to go for me. So, well, there you go, guys. A little bit of everything video. The calendar is saying stop as far as trying to get any field work done. I mean, harvest is done. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. But like I said earlier, the VT is the main go-to right now. I don't know if it's even worth trying to chisel at this point, but at the very least, try to go through and get all of our corn stalks knocked down, incorporated a little bit, so they do start to break down come spring when it starts warming up. Hey, buddy. Oh, he wants a stick. Come here. And then if you have a little bit of that dirt cut up and exposed so it does heat up and dry out next spring, hopefully gets us into the field a little bit quicker too. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you guys are having a good December. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you later.